Officials in Pakistan are concerned about the spread of waterborne diseases following devastating flooding in that country. Doctors say they're treating people suffering from diarrhea, skin infections, and other ailments in some of the hardest hit areas. The government is deploying additional medical teams, and the WHO says it is still increasing surveillance for diseases like cholera. Flooding triggered by powerful monsoons has left more than 1,100 people dead and destroyed more than 1 million homes. Mashal Saeed is the External Relations Coordinator at Islamic Relief Canada on the ground in Pakistan, and Miranda Gallo, Policy, Research and Advocacy Advisor for Islamic Relief Canada. Thanks so much for making time to both of you.
No, thank you so much for having us.
Let's start with talking about what's happening on the ground in Pakistan right now. What can you tell us about what's happening there, Mashal?
Yeah, so I work with Islamic Relief Canada, and we've been on the ground in Pakistan for over 30 years, which means that we have quite a good reach to many of the regions there. We have staff all across the country, and they've been able to respond immediately to what's happening there. We've been one of the first ones on the ground, and we've been working nonstop to respond. We're responding in the provinces of Sindh, Balochistan, and KPK, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and we're hoping to reach about 500,000 people. And as of now, we've reached 24,000 people. These floodings have been disastrous. You know, more than 33 million people have been impacted already. And if you think about that, that's almost the same population of Canada. So if you just take that in for a minute, you can kind of just try to imagine how bad this has been. So our team on the ground is providing tents, cash, hygiene kits, food, and other vital aid.
Yeah, I want to ask more about that. Miranda, can you tell us about what people in Pakistan need right now and how Canadians can help?
Yeah, so thank you so much. So Islamic Relief has been providing tents, bedding, hygiene kits, just basically everything that people need for basic survival at this point. We've launched an emergency appeal in Canada so that Canadians who are concerned, that want to make a difference and help people, can actually go to our website, can donate, can get those emergency supplies there immediately. But outside of the immediate response, you know, this is really telling of the impact of climate change globally. You know, Pakistan is a country that is contributing minimally comparatively to the global north in its climate emissions, but it's bearing the brunt of climate change. You know, we had very, very hot summers in Pakistan that caused unbearable suffering. And now here we are at the end of the summer seeing incredible amount of flooding that is completely climate induced. So another solution too is that we need to continue to apply pressure on our governments, hold our governments accountable for our own climate emission or our own emissions targets to make sure that we are, you know, not causing even greater devastation across the globe.
And Mashal, with so much infrastructure damage that was just mentioned by Miranda, are there challenges in getting supplies to people who need them there?
Yes, a lot of the regions are very difficult to reach. Thankfully, our teams have already been responding in those regions, though there's a lot that are still, you know, in need of response. So it's just about kind of getting the aid there, and it'll take some time, but we are getting there.
And Mashal, on a personal level, how are Pakistani Canadians experiencing this moment? What are you hearing?
Yeah, so Pakistani Canadians, I think abroad and even are just kind of feeling really devastated by the impacts of these floods. I was able to actually go down to one of the impacted areas yesterday and just distribute some of the food aid and even just speak with some of the families that have been impacted. And just, you know, talking to them one-to-one, you know, it's really difficult because this can be any one of us. Like, a lot of us have, like, Pakistani families, like, we have our families back home. And this could have happened to any one of them. And a lot of them actually are being impacted by the floods already. So it's really hard to kind of sit back at home in Canada and watch all this happening. But thankfully, you know, there is a lot that we can do as Canadians back home. You know, donating is one of them. You know, raising awareness is another thing, and also just considering the impact of climate change and how we have a role in all of that.
Absolutely. Michelle and Miranda, thanks to both of you for your time and sharing your perspective on this story. Certainly an important topic to chat about. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.